achava que ele tinha um problema no coração, porque ele corria 25 minutos e quando chegava, muitas vezes ele estava desmaiado, né? Ele nem sabia como é que ele chegava, ninguém entendia e no fim ele ganhava a corrida. Com 25 minutos, porque naquele tempo não tinha esse negócio de ficar bebendo água, a direção era dura, então a coisa era no braço. O corredor de Fórmula 1 tinha uma frequência cardíaca, 190 batimentos por minuto, a média, com picos de 220, 230. Porque você tem que ver dentro daquele esporte quais as capacidades físicas preponderantes. Eu vi que o cardiovascular era o elemento mais importante, porque o cockpit, apesar de pensar que é um carro conversível, ele provoca um tal estado dinâmico do vento que fica ali, um calor absurdo. E ele tinha corridas que chegava a perder 4 quilos, 4,5 kg.
Ele já conseguiu a façanha de marcar ponto. E é bom lembrar que...
Só marcavam 6.
Eram só 6 que marcavam pontos, né? Terminada a corrida, vai no parque fechado para o carro e ele não saía do carro.
A gente ajudou ele a sair do carro, porque ele sozinho não sairia. O braço, assim, totalmente enrijecido.
He was just not fit enough. He'd underestimated how much longer a Grand Prix was than any race he'd done before.
Aí eu expliquei para ele, Ayrton, é inacreditável, você tem um coração assim, e aí que veio pela primeira vez, é um coração de passarinho, porque bate, mas não manda sangue para lugar nenhum. É por isso que se você desmaia, você não... É um prato cheio para o meu trabalho, né?
E tem uma frase dele logo a seguir ali que me lembra muito e que marcou, passou a ser uma característica dele. Ele disse, esse brinquedo aqui é completamente diferente. Tenho que mudar minha vida e mudar o meu preparo físico.
E aquilo que era o ponto fraco dele passou a ser, não em 84, que ele desmaiou na África do Sul, passou mal em Silverstone, teve algum problema em Hockenheim, mas já no ano passado começou a ser o ponto forte dele. Porque ninguém fazia trabalho. Ele foi o precursor da preparação física, mental, emocional na Fórmula 1.
Immediately was very good in Monaco, made a wonderful race, and immediately we realized that Senna was something special. I was working at the time with Gazzetta dello Sport, so of course I was doing, let's say, the normal interview when you do about the winner, the second. So I started making the interview with him immediately. I have to say that myself, for a certain time of my life, I was a little bit fan of Prost. But I have to say that Senna was different.
Havia um outro piloto na pista naquele dia fazendo uma corrida extraordinária, o Stefan Beloff, que poderia até ganhar a prova, né? Ninguém sabe o que iria acontecer naquela corrida, na verdade, se ela fosse até o fim, porque com aquela quantidade de chuva, todo mundo estaria muito sujeito a qualquer errinho, a qualquer problema.
Mansell crashed while he was leading, and so then Prost was leading, and Ayrton was catching him, and Beloff in the Tyrrell, probably easier to drive than the other two cars because it wasn't turbocharged. Beloff was actually catching both of them. For sure, Prost would have been smart enough to think, okay, you go. I'm not putting it in the fence to keep you back. But whether Beloff would have caught Senna, and then what? Who knows? These two young guys. And then, of course, the clerk of the course stopped the race, and that was that. But I've often wondered, had that race not been stopped, I wonder how it would have finished. I can remember after the race, assuming that Senna would be thrilled. I mean, he'd driven a brilliant race, second place, very, very early in his career. And he wasn't thrilled at all. He was angry. He was furious. And I thought, well, already his expectations are so high.
Se você fizer as contas, o fato da corrida ter se encerrado antes, dizia o regulamento, valeram os pontos pela metade, né? Então, os 4,5 pontos que o Prost fez, se tivesse continuado a corrida 3 ou 4 voltas, já teria completado 75%, então ele somaria 9. Como ele somou 4,5, no final do campeonato, o Niki Lauda ganhou o campeonato dele, Prost, por meio ponto.
Ou seja, se o Jack Hicks tivesse deixado seguir a corrida, o Ayrton teria conquistado a vitória naquela corrida
E o Prost teria feito 6 pontos.
E o Prost seria pentacampeão do mundo.
A gente encontrou o Jack Hicks no Canadá. E a gente voltou da pista numa van dos jornalistas e ele junto. Ele tinha ido como para assistir. E não era tanto tempo depois, então evidentemente que a gente tocou nesse assunto com ele. E ele ria, brincava, não queria responder tudo, mas ele, no final ele falou, já quase chegando no hotel, ele falou que o Balestre exigiu que ele encerrasse a corrida.
Ele teve uma batida e aquilo, quando a batida é física, ela não tem problema nenhum. É só você ficar parado que o organismo se organiza e recupera aquele osso. Mas quando ela tem efeitos emocionais, espirituais, mentais, precisa tomar muito cuidado e fazer a pessoa repetir de novo aquilo. Então eu dizia para ele, Ayrton, quando eu fazia trapézio no circo, e quando a gente caía, você ficava aterrorizado. Mas o treinador obrigava você a ir lá e fazer de novo aquilo que você teve, para que você tirasse da cabeça aquela última impressão, aquele choque, aquele trauma. Então, você tem que descer o cacete. Então, a pessoa precisa de novo fazer aquilo que ela errou para ver que não vai fazer toda hora aqui.
And then he went to Portugal, where he was chasing the McLarens. And you think, this is in a Tolman, what's he going to do when he goes to Lotus next year?
I remember in his first year with Tolman, you may remember there was a lot of controversy about the Tolman contract because Lotus offered him a drive and he just said yes and signed. Now, he did have a contract with Tolman for a second year. And of course, they were not too pleased because he had just ignored it. And to punish him, they stood him down at Monza. He did not drive at Monza. They put Stefan Johansson in the car instead, I think.
He just didn't understand that. He didn't understand that if you break a contract, there's a quid pro quo. For everything you do wrong, someone is going to punish you. And he couldn't see why.
And I had written in my column the week before Monza, well, I don't blame Tolman for doing what they've done because they've every right to be angry because he did have a contract with them and he's ignored it. And then he came over and he just exploded. Yes. How could you write that? I thought, and he said, I remember this distinctly. He kept saying, I thought you were my friend. And I said, I am, but that's got nothing to do with, I still have my opinions. It was the championship decider between Lauda and Prost. He was third. He came out, he found me, he came over and held his hand out and said, I'm sorry for the, Ayrton didn't say sorry very often, as Prost will tell you.
The Tolman was a sort of a learning period, and I think that during that time there were 3 podiums, which was a great achievement. Anyway, it was a good car for Ayrton to learn his business of being a Grand Prix driver because he could learn and make mistakes without the spotlight of being in a top team. That would have been a big step, going from Formula 3 into a very high-profile team. Not easy to do.
Essa imagem é bonita de se ver. O grande Lauda, e quem sabe, o futuro grande Ayrton Senna.
I tell you, Senna was an outstanding racing driver with a lot of talent, incredibly quick. He knew what he was doing, and from this moment on, you can very simply see in his career how outstanding as a driver he was.
And when you listen to Ayrton on the circuit, he was always blipping the throttle. He was always keeping the turbo spinning. So to give himself maximum power when he wanted it. And that's why I always said he was the master of the turbo, because nobody else really drove. Everybody else tried to drive a turbo in anticipating the lag, but Ayrton found a way of bypassing the lag by blipping the throttle and keeping the turbo spinning.
Watching this young man do things in a car that nobody else was doing. Nobody else was doing. Even Alain Prost, Niki Lauda, other drivers of the day, Michele Alboreto, I can't remember all the names, knew Ayrton had the ability to do things, and it was to do with the way he could keep the boost pressure up. He probably was left foot braking when everybody was right foot braking. It was like he had 3 hands and 3 legs. He was just special.
Não só entender, mas conseguir usufruir tudo que o carro tinha à disposição. Em freada, entrada de curva, no meio da curva, em tração, saída de curva, usar a pista ao máximo. Então eu acho que essa excelência de utilização do carro é que o Ayrton conseguia a mais que muita gente que não conhece direito o carro não consegue.
And in those wonderful qualifying laps, with qualifying boost, qualifying tyres, qualifying rear wing, the car was just dancing on the racetrack. And it was a pleasure to watch in qualifying because I get goosebumps now. I can feel shivers now because I know what it looked like. And I have never really seen anybody drive like that.
If you say Ayrton to me, coming to my mind, of course the person as a friend, but his natural speed, his qualifying laps on the Lotus, day by day, week by week, all the time pole position, not with a car where anybody others would go to pole position. He had not the pole position car, but he made it to the pole position car, and he repeated all the time in the last second of qualifying with very strong mind, in a way that it was unbelievable, in a way that people would know the sport today cannot imagine what it means on a 1,200 horsepower engine in qualifying tires with no runoff areas, on high-speed corners sideways to going through what he did in the best way of all of us.
Ayrton had this rather dramatic driving style where you could hear him from very early in the corner going bap, 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 bap on the throttle to keep the exhaust blowing. And you could hear him also that he'd be on the brakes and on the throttle at the same time, his purpose being to keep the exhaust blowing, which was probably very inefficient on fuel consumption, but for a qualifying lap didn't matter.
E ele dominava isso com maestria por ser canhoto, usando o pé esquerdo, freando o carro e deixando o acelerador com carga no motor para manter a potência sem a queda do turbo lag, que era um problema que os motores turbo tinham.
In 1985, when Ayrton went out, and 86, when Ayrton went out to qualify, everybody went to the pit wall to watch, I think. From the noise, you could hear that he was very much on the edge.
O motor de treino era feito para dar 5 voltas e jogar fora.
You had to really drive every meter of the track. You were driving the car. You were fighting the car. You were controlling, trying to stop the car from crashing. More sometimes than going forward, you were just thinking about, okay, keep the car on the road. They were really fearsome, but they were fantastic to drive.
Eram carros que davam coice, né, nas costas do piloto, basicamente.
If you can imagine what 12, 13, 1400 horsepower was like in the confines of Monaco. In qualifying, you know, BMW and Renault, on occasions, the drivers had almost 1500 horsepower. Think about that. That's twice what they have in a Formula 1 car now.
Uma turbina de turbo gira 90.000 giros. Quer dizer, o calor que isso gera. Eu lembro no autódromo do Rio, quando os carros paravam, tinha que correr o bombeiro do lado, porque o calor irradiava do carro, pegava fogo na grama.
I think to see Senna, I remember particularly in the Lotus at Monaco in qualifying in 85, was something else. I mean, believe me, I went and stood at the exit of Tabac, going into the swimming pool. Senna's commitment was simply staggering, and on these ridiculous one-lap tyres. So the grip was phenomenal, And Senna's commitment was simply, I mean, it was terrifying because you knew if he got it wrong, it was not going to be going over a white line. It was going to be a huge accident against stone.
That was man's car. I always think this is a bit more like ladies' cars now, but that was proper man's cars. The turbo cars with 1,000 plus horsepower, big wheels, no automatic shift, no servo support. Well, that was hardcore.
And don't forget, in those days, you know, we were manual focusing. You know, you had to be pretty quick on the shutter, you know. You just had the one chance. And they used to bottom out, and then there would be sparks. So I think that's one of my favorite ones, when you know, it looks so spectacular.
Eu sempre falo que quanto maior é a potência, você seleciona mais o piloto. Quanto menos potência o carro tem, equaliza os pilotos. Você pega um carro, vamos dizer, uma categoria turismo. Podem ter 20 caras que andam muito bem de turismo e com um dos 20, inclusive o Ayrton, pode ganhar a corrida. Agora você pega uma corrida com fórmula com 1000 cavalos, dos 20 vão sobrar 2, 3 para ganhar a corrida.
Senna caught my eyes the first time in Monte Carlo. I was in practice and I tried to qualify very quick, and suddenly in the middle of the road somebody was going slow, didn't look in the mirrors and destroyed my lap. I found him in the pits, went over there and said to him, why are you not cooperative like we all are? You're new here in Formula One. So what we normally do is we move over and let the other guy qualify, and this is the way it is. So he looked at me and said, fine, no problem. The Saturday qualifying for the grid position and all this, I qualified on pole position and I stayed out, going slowly, waiting in the mirror when Ayrton comes. Ayrton came round the corner like crazy. I was in the middle of the road and I stopped.
Really?
Then I accelerated again and his lap was 0. In the pits, Ayrton came crazy. And I said to him, here. And then from this moment on, we had a very good relationship. He accepted everything. I talked to him, he talked to me, no more problem.
It was a difficult time for me because I had signed my contract with Lotus, equal number 1 with Ayrton for 86, and we would alternate the spare car. I'd already picked my mechanics, my engineer, everything. And then I got a phone call in December to say, can you come to the factory? I was thinking to come to the factory for Lotus to sign the contract and give me the first payment. And I could feel that the mood was a bit different. And I got into the boardroom and I was told in the boardroom that unfortunately they couldn't take me for 1986. And then of course they said that Ayrton didn't want me as his teammate. He wanted to be completely number 1. He wanted sole use of the spare car. And I think, with hindsight and reflection, I'd have to say that I think he thought of me as a threat, which is a positive thing for me. I think he also knew that the team was not good enough to run 2 number 1 cars. He knew that the team didn't have the money, the budget, the capability, the mechanics, the engineers, the management to be able to concentrate on 2 drivers. And Ayrton was strong with the sponsor. He put a lot of weight into the sponsor to get rid of me. And that's what happened. They tore up the contract in front of me. Then something really strange happened. I had a letter in the post from Ayrton, wishing me all the best for 86. And I don't think he realised the impact he had on my life. I think he just was only thinking of one thing, and that was Ayrton Senna, what was best for Ayrton. I don't think he thought he was hurting me. I don't think he thought that he was destroying my career. I think he just thought what was best for Ayrton Senna.